Yo, what's good, crew, man? Welcome back to the tournament. On this time on the team, man. On this team, crew, family, and community on the tube. Listen, today we back with these Larry Bird videos, man. I know y'all remember. I used to react to all the Larry Bird videos, man. Those videos used to do the fucking numbers. Everybody love Larry Bird. Everybody love basketball. So, I react to all the good stuff about Larry. Now I want to watch this video. The Larry Bird disrespect has gone too far. You know what I'm saying? I learned a lot through the comments of the people who were telling me about Larry Bird, and there's still people today that still commenting about Larry. But I want to say we're gonna see what the disrespect is and what's been taken too far for the main man, Larry the Legend. So let's get right into it, man.
When it comes to Larry Joe Bird, he is universally recognized as a top 10 player in NBA history.
I ain't gonna lie. Before watching Larry, I had Larry under 10. Top 10 of all time. But after watching Larry, he easily top 7 now. Of all time. He top 7.
But as of late, from really all angles, the media, fans, even some players, his legacy is under attack. And shocking to me and many, NBA Hall of Famer Dennis Rodman smeared Larry Bird like you've never imagined.
Hell no, Larry Bird would be in today's NBA. He'd be in Europe. Wow. I don't think Larry would be in no Europe. Luka Doncic ain't in no Europe. Jokic ain't in no Europe. And they play like him. Not athletic like that. Plays at his pace. Can shoot the fucking ball. Plus they got this shit that go back here. I'm telling you, especially, I know y'all seen Jokic in the finals, bro. We're playing against the Lakers. That nigga on one leg got that motherfucker right here catapulting that shit. Nothing but bottom of the net. I'm telling you.
As Rodman earlier this week said, Larry Bird in 2023.
He crazy as hell for that.
He'd be over in Europe.
He crazy as hell for that.
And someone like Jokic would be better than him. Don't believe me? Here's Dennis in his own words saying just that.
If Larry Bird played in this era, I think he'd be in Europe. So I'm just letting you know, man. Really, like I said, I'm just saying he'd be somewhere over there. Because I think his game was fit for
to
Boston
say he in Europe
in the 80s and stuff like
crazy.
that. But so today's world, oh hell no, there's no way. I'm not downplaying him because he's a great player at that time, just like I was. And but I'm saying no, there's no way, no way. I think the kid from Denver is way better than him.
So, obviously, Dennis had some pretty spicy takes when it came to Bird, his overall game, and his play in 2023. And let's go one by one and tackle each of his points. First up, Dennis saying Larry Bird in 2023 would be in Europe. Now, I find this ironic for
They're crazy for Dennis to say that shit.
Mainly considering the NBA now.
To be honest, if we being technically honest, Dennis, you probably would be in Europe. You're probably playing with Dwight Howard. That's just me being real. Because Dennis, you couldn't score. You couldn't score. You didn't do nothing. Play defense and get rebounds. Draymond Green is better than you, Dennis Rodman. I'm just being real. Draymond Green is better than you. Draymond Green, if he wanted to, he can give you 20 points. I believe if Dennis Rodman tried to get 20, he wouldn't get it. He a good rebounder. He is a good defender. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm not taking that away. Just scoring wise, Dennis, you probably wouldn't be in the league. I'm telling you. You'd probably be a role player. You're probably a role player, then.
It's almost an international league at the top 10, top 15 level. And you could really easily argue that international players, European players, they have the majority of the best players in the world. And this take by Dennis couldn't have came at a worse time. As in this year's playoffs, Nikola Jokic, a European player, just...
Look at them stats, bro. And this the shot I'm
And
telling
this
y'all
year
about.
cost Nikola Jokic a
Look where he's shooting that motherfucker from. Behind the back of his neck. The back of his neck sweat is touching the basketball. This man is shooting like this, bro. Like, you can't do shit about man. 50, 40, well, he ain't 90. But 30 points, 13 rebounds, 9 points. Tennessee, he averaging a triple-double, bro.
European player just ran through the NBA, beating Jimmy, Bam, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Karl Towns and Edwards, and Rudy Gobert. If Nikola Jokic, who's slower than Bird, can't jump higher, isn't a better defender, can dominate all those players and beat them, you don't think Bird Day's NBA wouldn't be at least something comparable to that? And staying on Jokic for 1 second, he was one of the European superstars among many who said scoring overseas is actually harder than in the NBA. And his main 3 points of why that is because in Europe the rules let the defense be more physical. Also, there is no 3-second rule. So the bigs in the paint, they can camp there, just lock down in the paint, and establish help early and often. I think the 3-second rule is actually one of the underrated rules in all of basketball. As in the NBA, having that 3-second rule, the paint is just wide open and the spacing is 10 times better.
Yeah.
Even looking at Luka Doncic, before Jokic's comments, he said the exact same thing. That European basketball is harder to score in than the NBA, due to spacing, rules, and physicality. If you have two superstars in 2023 who are at least comparable to Bird, saying overseas is harder to score than the NBA, that's an indictment on basketball in 2023. And if you guys don't know Larry Bird, I would say his absolute apex was 1986. Look at Bird that year. Do you think this guy wouldn't survive?
50 for the nigga in 50, 40, 90. You telling me Larry Bird can play in today's league? I'm telling you, bro. Larry Bird will hoop on niggas, bro.
Compared to his peers, Magic, Bernard King, Alex English, Kareem, Jordan, all those great players, he was 4th in scoring, 7th in rebounds, 8th in steals, and 13th in assists. The only player in the entire league, top 15 in all those categories. And looking at shooting, Larry Bird in the 80s was basically Steph Curry, being 1st in made threes, 1st in free throw percentage, and 4th in 3-point percentage.
Yeah, Larry Bird really was the
If
only
you're
one that was really shooting three back
Larry
then.
Bird was a top 10 passer, scorer, rebounder, or when the best shooter in the NBA couldn't play today, it's simply absurd. As in today's NBA teams are taking 34 threes per game, and the spacing is absurd compared to the 1980s. And of course, when it comes to Rodman, going back to the 80s, there is some sour grapes. As very infamously, he called Larry Bird overrated and overhyped. And looking at Bird versus those Pistons teams, who had a really great defense, Bird in his prime just absolutely destroyed them. In 85, averaging 28, 10, and 6, and 87, 27, 10, and 8. And versus Dennis for his career, he averaged 24.7 points, 8.0 boards, 6.9 assists, on absurd 49, 46, and 95 splits. And before I forget, the most athletic player in the NBA today, Giannis Antetokounmpo, also said overseas basketball is harder to score. Giannis, unlike Bird, Jokic, and Luka, is a freak athlete. If he's saying that, that's a pretty big indictment as one of the best athletes in all of sports. Now, looking at Robin's second point, he says Jokic is the far better player than Larry Bird. And this one right here, it kind of hurts, because both Bird and Jokic are some of my favorite players of all time. And the Joker this year had an iconic run winning his first championship. But when it comes to Larry Bird, his peak, his prime, what he established,
27, 14,
compared
and
to Jokic,
11, bro.
it's still better. As looking at Bird from 85 to 88, he averaged 28.1 points, 9.7 boards, 6.8 assists on 50, 40, and 90 splits. And Boston in those 4 years, their worst year
How you make shit like that?
was 57 wins. Looking at peak Larry Bird, he had the stats, the efficiency, the team success, the clutch gene, and just everything wrapped into one. And looking at his entire career, being a 3-time champion, perennial championship contender, having a total of 5 MVPs, I can't go there with Jokic being a better and greater overall player. Now, staying on Jokic for 1 second, I do find a lot of stuff fascinating about him, but looking at his playoff career, till this date, he has never not once had a bad playoff series. In his career stats in the playoffs, he averaged 28 points, 12 boards, 7 assists on 50, 40, and 80 splits. That is a guy in the quote-unquote most athletic era ever, putting up video game numbers in the playoffs. Even looking at Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic really be on the same type time,
just
though.
like Jokic, has never had a bad playoff series. For his career, averaging 32.2 points, 9 boards, 8 assists on pretty impressive splits. That is 2 guys in Jokic and Luka who can't jump over a phone book, ranking top 10 all time in playoff scoring. And if you compare those players to Bird,
Them folks, you can't jump over a phone book.
it's not a one-to-one comparison. As Bird, much like Luka, would operate on the perimeter, shooting deep threes, mid-range, and all that in between. But much like Jokic, could dominate in the paint, posting up, finding shooters, and above all else, being unselfish. So, again I ask, if Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic are just so dominant in today's NBA, a weaker NBA,
How are you supposed to guard
you're
this shit?
saying Larry Bird wouldn't even make it to the league? And looking at Dennis's last point, he says Bird in the 80s for Boston in an era was a great fit. Now, to a degree, I agree with Dennis. Bird in the 80s, the team basketball, that really fit that era and defined that decade. But I actually think Larry Bird, the player, will be better in today's NBA.
Yeah, cause it require more skill. You gotta work on more skill. I don't know. I don't want to say the league back then when skill as it is today, but I wouldn't say it's harder. I mean, back then it probably was harder basketball than to play now. So I think for Larry to be in today's league, he would be doing probably the same thing he would be doing, probably averaging more assists. Probably more points too, because how easy it is. You can't hand check in today's league, so he'll probably be averaging more points and assists. I'd say Larry Bird will be decent in today's league. He'll be probably trying to compare to somebody in today's league. I think he'll have an impact like I'd say like a Klay Thompson type of level, as far as people knowing him, knowing what he can do. Knowing that, you know what I'm saying, y'all think Larry Bird would be a first option in the league? That's why I say Klay Thompson, because Larry Bird ain't that skilled of a dribbler. He not like a point guard. You feel what I'm saying? So I believe he'll be a 2 or 3. And so he'll probably have like the Klay Thompson type of status, like everybody know what he can do. Don't let him get too high, you know what I'm saying? Stay up on him. You know what I'm saying? You still gotta watch out for him on the court. But he probably won't be the star player, in my opinion. He'll probably be the second option on the team.
Nowadays, a lot of teams have one guy dictating the offense, the pace, and the flow. Compared to someone like Bird, who's unselfish,
Did he just dunk this shit on Dwight Howard?
And makes his teammates better. And above all else, Larry Bird, the shooter, even in his own era, and not a high volume, was a great shooter. If you put Bird in today's NBA, not taking 3 threes, but 10 or 12, that scoring average skyrockets to the high 20s, possibly 30s. And Bird, early in his career, really didn't shoot threes that much. But near the end of it, and really his last year of his prime, post-prime, he shot threes at a pretty good clip. and his shooting splits were definitely pretty impressive. As from 85-92, 50% from the field, nearly 40% from 3, and 91% from the free throw line. And in 2023, with so much emphasis on shooting, I don't see how Larry Bird wouldn't be successful and even better than he was in the 1980s. And to wrap this video up, I'm going to say one last thing. If you told me...
Yeah, they know who to show at the end.
Magic, 88 Jordan,
They know who to show at the end, man. They the
Kareem
real GOAT.
couldn't play in today's NBA, I would laugh you out of the building. The same goes for Larry Bird in his prime in 1986. If you don't think Bird, Magic, Jordan, Kareem, all the all-time greats wouldn't thrive today, I'm not going to be mean about it, but you're being pretty naive. And with that being said, I hope in this video, I had a pretty good case of why Dennis Rodman is dead wrong about Bird, his era, and basketball today. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.
Good vid, man. Good vid, bro. Hey, listen, Uncut Hoops. I think you got a point. Like I said, I think Larry Bird would be able to thrive in today's league. But like I said, I think he'll be a good second option. Cause you gotta have a point. He probably used to play the point back in the day. I don't know, but pair him up with a point guard that can get him open. They give him the ball whenever he in his spot. I'm telling you, Larry Bird will probably be having the same career in the 80s probably than like what he be doing now if he was in today's league. But man, if y'all want me to watch any more videos like this about Larry, Jordan, anything, y'all want to watch anything, y'all let me know in the comments. Hit me up on IG, NiRowlandTv, and I will react to y'all videos. Y'all got vlogs, like I said, y'all got vlogs. Any kind of videos y'all want me to react to, y'all think it'll be entertaining for me to watch, y'all let me know. With that being said, man, make sure y'all stay up, stay safe, stay blessed, stay positive, man. Now rolling out of here.